අද සිට ක්‍රියාත්මක වන පරිදි මංචි බිස්කට් මිල ගණන් පහත දමයි. වෙළඳපොළ අමුද්‍රව්‍ය පිරිවැය හා විදේශ විනිමය අනුපාතික පහළ යාමේ උපරිම වාසිය සිය පාරිභෝගික ජනතාවට ලබා දෙමින් නැවත වරක් බිස්කට් මිල ගණන් පහත දැමීමට කටයුතු කළ බව CBL මංචි ආයතනය දැනුම් දෙයි.
Tonight on First at 9, this Sunday, the 21st of May 2023. Economic resurgence. Sri Lanka can complete debt restructuring latest by August, says President Ranil Wickremesinghe, assuring the island can come out of bankruptcy by September. Education reforms. Artificial intelligence and ICT to be introduced to Sri Lankan school curriculum from next year, announces Education Minister. Inclement weather. Heavy rainfall accompanied with strong winds expected to intensify, warns Met Department. Landslide warnings issued to several areas. Economic coercion. G7 leaders send strong message to Russia by inviting Vladimir Zelensky to Hiroshima. Another rival was also on their minds, China.
From AdaDerana, this is AdaDerana First at 9 with Indivadi Amuata. Live from Studio 24 in Colombo.
Alliance Finance මෙතුරු රන්නයි සේවාවෙන් රන් පවුම්කට රුපියල් 1,70,000ක ඉහළ අධිකාරමක්. ඔබේ විශ්වාසය දිනු සෙන්සුරයින් දැන් ළඟමැති ෆාමසියෙන් ලබාගත හැක.
And a warm welcome to you this Sunday. I'll take you straight to your top story tonight. President Ranil Wickremesinghe says talks with international creditors on debt restructuring can be concluded by July or August this year, paving way for the economy to come out of the state of bankruptcy by September this year. Speaking at a ceremony to declare open the Asupini Alla water scheme in Aranayaka in the Kegal district, the president noted that officials are currently taking measures towards restructuring both domestic and foreign debt. Also speaking at the ceremony, the Dutch ambassador in Colombo welcomed efforts by Sri Lanka to provide access to equal opportunities to both individuals and businesses with the reforms program.
The Asupini Alla water scheme, built to address the drinking water crisis in areas of the Kegal district, was vested with the public yesterday by President Ranil Wickremesinghe. Considered the largest water project in Sabaragamuwa, the Asupini Alla water scheme was constructed with a 3.8 billion rupee financial allocation from the government and loan support of 18.6 billion rupees from the Netherlands. This project will provide drinking water access to 52,000 families in 135 Grama Niladhara divisions belonging to Aranayaka, Mavanella and Ramukkana divisional secretariats in the Kegal district.
I would like to reiterate the Water Board's commitment on keeping up with SDG 6, where we would want to provide clean and safe sanitation for everyone as well. We have taken the country out of bankruptcy, and we have taken this country to a situation where abandoned projects are being restarted. And I would appreciate political bipartisanship. I'm sure we'd be able to take the country back to where it was, if not to a better place.
Co-creation is all about allowing access to equal opportunities. And that is what I think the President is doing at the moment with the reform program, allowing equal opportunities for businesses to come and invest, co-create opportunities together, co-create solutions for problems that arise in this country. And I'm very proud to see Dutch companies and Dutch investors coming in to work together with Sri Lankan companies, Sri Lankan expertise, working towards a better future, knowledge exchange, and allowing the Sri Lankan people to benefit and prosper in return.
රටේ ආර්ථික අර්බුදය ඇති වුණාන් පසුව අපි විවෘත කළා තියෙන එක ව්‍යාකෘතියක් තමයි මේක. සාමාන්‍ය වශයෙන් බංකොලොත්භාවය අපි මෙතන ප්‍රකාශ කරාන් පස්සේ ඒ රටවල් වලින් අපිට ආධාර දෙන එක නැවතුණා. මොකද ඒ අයගේ නීති රීති අනුව රටක් බංකොලොත් වුණොත් ආධාර දෙන්න බැරි වෙනවා. ඒ වගේම ආයෝජනය කරපු බොහෝ දෙනෙකුත් මේ රටෙන් පිට වුණා. මේ රට බංකොලොත්භාවය මට පෙවුනේ මේකට කරන්න තියෙන එකම දේ පුළුවන් තරම් විගහට මේ බංකොලොත්භාවය නැති කරන්න. මං ජනාධිපතිකම ඒ නිසා බාරගත්තේ පළමුවෙන්ම IMS සංවිධානයට යන්න වෙන තැනක් තිබුණේ නැහැ. IMS සංවිධානයට ගියා. එතනින් අපි සැප්තැම්බර් මාස වෙනකොට එක ගිවිසුමකට එන්න පුළුවන් වුණා. අමාරු කොන්දේසි තිබුණා. ඒත් අපිට පේනවා කොන්දේසි අමාරු වුණත් වෙන විකල්පයක් නැහැ. මේ කොන්දේසි අනුව වැඩ කරොත් අපිට විගහට ඒකෙන් හැරිලා ආපහු එන්න පුළුවන් කියලා. අපිට බංකොලොත් භාවයේ ඉවත් කරන්න නම් දැන් අපි ණය වෙලා තියෙන රටවල් ණය වෙලා තියෙන පුද්ගලයන් සමාගම් එක්ක අපි දැන් විශේෂයෙන්ම සාකච්ඡා කරන්න තියෙන්නේ. ඒ ගමන්ම අපි පෙන්වන්න ඕනේ අපේ ආදායම් වැඩි වෙනවා කියලා. අපි ලෑස්ති කියලා ආදායම් එකතු කරලා දෙන්න. ඉතින් ඒ අවස්ථාවට ඇවිල්ලා තියෙනවා. දැන් අපි සාකච්ඡා වලට යන්න තියෙනවා. එයාගෙන් සාකච්ඡා කරන අපිට ගන්න පුළුවන් සහනේ මොකද්ද මේ ආර්ථික නැගලා ගන්න. එහෙනම් යම් කිසි විදියකට අපි දුන්නේ ණය අඩු කරනවද නැත්නම් ණය ගෙවන කාලේ වැඩි කරනවද මේ ප්‍රශ්න සියල්ලම අපිට සාකච්ඡා කරන්න තියෙනවා. අපේ විදේශ ණය බර තියෙන නිසා කොහොමද මේ විදේශ ණය සහනයක් ගන්න අඩු කරන්නේ. ඒ වගේම අපිට පෙන්වන්න ඕනේ අපේ දේශීය ණයත් විශාල බරක් තියෙනවා. දේශීය ණයෙන්ුත් අපි කොහොමද මේ සහනයක් ගන්නෙ කොහොමද ඉති කියන්නේ විදේශ ණයයි දේශීය ණයයි දෙකම ප්‍රතිව්‍යුහගත කරන්නේ. එතන තමයි අපි දැන් සැලසුම් සකස් කරගෙන යන්නේ. අපි අමාරු තත්වයක ඉන්නේ. ඒත් මේ සාකච්ඡාව අවසන් වුණාම අපිට පුළුවන් බංකොලොත් භාවය නැති කරන්න. මම බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ අපිට පුළුවන් වෙයි කියලා ජූලි අගෝස්තු මාසෙදී මේ වැඩ කටයුතු අවසන් කරන්න. මේ වැඩ කටයුතු අවසන් කළා අපි සැප්තැම්බර් වෙනට ඉස්සෙල්ලා ආපහු මේ බංකොලොත් භාවයෙන් ඉතින් අපි සියලු දෙනාම බංකොලොත් භාවයෙන් පිට වෙලා ආපහු නම්බුකාර රටක් බවට පත් වෙන්න අප්‍රියා කරමු.
The Education Ministry is to introduce upgraded ICT and artificial intelligence education to 20 selected schools covering all 9 provinces by the end of June this year, with a view of transforming Sri Lanka's education system. Education Minister Dr. Susil Premajayantha said cabinet approval for digitalisation of education can be expected in the next 2 weeks, paving way for the introduction of upgraded syllabuses to all selected schools from grade 6 upwards.
After 13 years of education at the GC advanced level, we test the knowledge, only the knowledge. If you have good memory, within 3 hours you can answer to all these questions and perform well. But issue is skills. There are emerging technologies, biotechnology, nanotechnology, genomics, artificial intelligence. There are so many areas that you can impart the knowledge. So very soon, from grade 6, we are going to introduce IT and AI by 2024. We are getting ready for that. So very soon the cabinet will approve the digitalization of education within next 2 weeks time. Then we introduce the updated syllabuses in a selected schools, and then by 2024 we are starting. Within next 4 years we have to complete it. At the moment it's in the basket. You can select ICT or not. But once we provide the teachers for all the schools from grade 6, we are going to make it compulsory, not immediately but in a future date. So there you find the future. That is one of the main transformations that we are planning to introduce in our education system. And little by little, the continuous evaluation in classrooms will be given some weightage. Then the weightage for examinations will be reduced. We have to mold our younger generation to become inventors, researchers, and scientists.
President Ranil Wickremesinghe will leave for Japan tomorrow, followed by a visit to Singapore, in which his office says is an attempt to continue strengthening ties with both nations. The president is expected to hold key talks with the leaders of both Japan and Singapore, with investment projects in focus.
President Ranil Wickremesinghe is scheduled to leave for Japan tomorrow in a bid to strengthen bilateral relations between the two countries. During his visit, President Wickremesinghe is expected to hold discussions with Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida and other senior officials. According to the President's media division, the Sri Lankan head of state is to engage in a range of discussions on investment projects. Also in Japan, the President will address the Nikkei Forum Future of Asia, which is to commence on the 25th of May under the theme Leveraging Asia's Power to Confront Global Challenges. Organized by Nikkei every year since 1995, the forum brings together prominent political, economic and academic leaders from the Asia-Pacific region to offer their opinions on regional issues and the role of Asia in the world. President Ranil Wickremesinghe is then scheduled to visit Singapore, where he will hold discussions with Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong and other senior officials of the Singaporean government.
Sri Lanka and India are to ink an agreement for a cable connection with the two countries covering power. Addressing a media briefing in India, Sri Lankan High Commissioner in New Delhi, Milinda Murugada, said power can be exported to countries in the region if more investments flow into the north and east of Sri Lanka, where there is a potential to generate at least 30,000 megawatts of electricity.
Just wanted to understand what's the status of the Adani projects there, the West Container Terminal and the two wind projects. Are you going ahead with it? Are you happy with the progress? Your
Very clearly. I mean, Adani Group, the West Terminal is very much on time and on course. I even saw some photographs of it a few days ago. It is a 3 million TU terminal. And that is a very important investment to us. And at a time like this, it gives us confidence in Sri Lanka that somebody is willing to invest like that. On the wind power also, the negotiations are on. I think the power purchase agreement is being finalized, the 500 megawatt wind project. So that is also moving ahead. We are hoping very soon to sign an MOU with India on a cable connection between India and Sri Lanka for power. We understand that off the northwest coast of Sri Lanka, there is nearly 30,000 megawatts of wind energy available. So our whole generation capacity in Sri Lanka is 4,300 megawatts. So we will not need 30,000 megawatts. So if we can get investment going off the northwest coast of Sri Lanka with the wind energy, hopefully we can look after our needs and also look at exports in the future to India. Because broadening and increasing our income lines of revenue lines for Sri Lanka is one of our key priorities. And export of electricity could be one area like that.
Key part of the IMF's EFF deal was a government diagnostics exercise. And I think Sri Lanka is the first country in Asia to receive that treatment. How does the government plan on tackling corruption and how do you plan on quantifying that?
I mean, the IMF is approaching us with looking at systems and checks and balances and transparency. And that is something any government would like to have. So basically, for example, there is a central banking act which is coming up to make the central bank independent. So these are institutional checks and balances. Then there is a parliamentary budget office which is being set up so that the parliament can basically shadow the budgeting process, which is, I think, a very important development as well. And then basically our legal systems have to work. I mean, I having been in politics, having watched this for a long time, when it comes to issues like corruption, I always say laws can eliminate corruption and if institutions can eliminate corruption, Sri Lanka is paradise. Because we have institutions upon institutions for corruption and investigation. We have laws, but finally it's obviously not working. So I think my view, having been justice minister actually, I always keep saying, have the institutions that are in existence working.
Deputy Leader of the United National Party, Ruwan Wijewardena, calls all political parties to unite to take Sri Lanka out of this crisis. However, independent MP Partli Champika Ranawaka said that if government intends to engage with the opposition, they must first hold discussions on a common agenda.
දැන් සාමාන්‍ය සාකච්ඡාවක් හදන්න හදනවා ආර්ථික යහපත් වෙමින් එනවා. ඒක බොරු මිත්‍යාවක්. දැන් මේ ඩොලරේ අඩු වුණා කියනෝනේ. ඉතින් පිට රටින් බඩු ගේන්නෙත් නැත්තම් ඩොලර් වලින් ණය ගෙවන්නෙත් නැත්තම් මහ බැංකුව ඩොලර් ගන්නෙත් නැත්තම් ඩොලරේ වටිනාකම නැතු වෙනවා. අරුම් පුදුම දෙයක්. ඕනනම් කො 100ට බස්සන්න පුළුවන්. කොහමද? දැන් ගේනේ වගේ 150ක් අඩු කරන්න. බයිනෝන් නිකම්ම. සෑම පුරවැසියෙකුගේ මූලික වමනාවන් නිටු කරන රටක් අපිට අවශ්‍ය නැද්ද? අන්නේ රට නිර්මාණය කිරීමේ වගකීම සහ අභියෝගය තමයි ජාතික ජන බලවේගයේ බාර අරගෙන තිබෙන්නේ. අපි මේ වැඩේ කළ යුතුයි. අපේ පරම්පරාව මේ වැඩේ කරන්න ඕනේ.
මේ රටේ ආර්ථික හැදුවේ එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂය. රටේ නායකත්වය දෙන්න පුළුවන් එකම පුද්ගලයා රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ. නායකතුමා මාස දෙක තුනක් යනකොට ගෑස් පෝලිං ටික නතර කරුවා. තව මාස දෙකක් යනකොට ඉන්ධන පෝලිං ටික නතර කරුවා. එතුමාට තියෙන එකම ඉලක්කය මේ රට දියුණු කරගන්න. අපි මොන දේශපාලන පක්ෂවල හිටියත් අද රට වෙනුවෙන් රටේ ජනතාව වෙනුවෙන් අපි එකමුතු වෙන්නට ඕනේ වෙලාව මේක.
රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ මහත්තයා කියන්නේ අපේ නායකයා නෙවෙයි දැන්. පොහොට්ටුවේ නායකයා. දැන් සමහරු රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ මහත්තයාගේ දෑත් ශක්තිමත් කරන්න කියලා මේ ඊයේ පෙරේදා අනුරාධපුරයේ පැත්තේ එක්කනොත් ගියානේ. මේ ගියේ වෙන මොකටවත් නෙවෙයි. තනතුරු ගන්න. ආණ්ඩුකාරකම් ගන්න. ඇත්ත කතාව කියමුකෝ. හැබැයි කෙලුණා නේද?
රජයට අවශ්‍ය නම් නිවැරදි විදියට විපක්ෂයත් එක්ක ගනුදෙනු කරන්න මීට වඩා විවෘත භාවයකින් යුතුව පොදු ප්‍රතිපත්තියක් ගැන කතා කළ යුතුව තිබුණා. පොදු දේශපාලන න්‍යායපත්‍රයක් ගැන කතා කළ යුතුව තිබුණා.
ජනාධිපතිතුමා සහ මේ ආණ්ඩුව ගෙන යන ක්‍රියාමාර්ගය ශක්තිමත් කරන්න උදව් කරන ඕන කෙනෙක් එක්කට එකතු වෙලා අපි මේ ආණ්ඩුව ඉස්සරහට තල්ලු කරන්න අපි ලෑස්ති. පෞද්ගලිකවම කල්පනා කරනවා රනිල් ජනාධිපතිතුමා තව වාරයක් මේ රට පාලනය කිරීම මේ රටේ සෞඛ්‍යයටත් රටේ ආර්ථික සංවර්ධනයටත් ඉතාම ගුණදායකයි කියලා මම හිතනවා.
And severe weather warnings issued by the Met Department to the general public, with landslide warnings also issued. We'll bring you more details on the other side of this break when we return.
ගොඩමට පෙරලි කරන බලපුළුවන් කාරයා මහින්ද්‍රා යුවෝ ඩීමෝ වෙතින්. වැඩම ගොඩයි ගොඩම තමයි ස්වරාජ් ට්‍රැක්ටර් ඩීමෝ වෙතින්.
Welcome back to the news. Heavy showers have intensified in the western and southwestern parts of the island. With the inclement weather pattern, the National Building Research Organisation issued early landslide warnings to several areas in the Galle district. The Met Department meanwhile warned the general public to take adequate measures to minimize damages caused by the prevailing weather conditions, as heavy showers are expected to continue into the other parts of the country, accompanied with strong winds.
Rainy conditions began to intensify in the western and southwestern parts of the island since yesterday. The Department of Meteorology issued an advisory for heavy rainfall, stating that rains above 100 millimeters can be expected in the western province and Ratnapura, Galle and Matra districts. According to a weather advisory issued by the Department of Meteorology for tomorrow, showers or thunder showers are expected to occur in several areas of the western, Sabargamua, central, eastern and Uva provinces and in Galle, Matra and Polonnaru districts during the evening or night. Further, showers are expected to occur in the western coastal areas in Galle and Matra districts during the morning hours. Meanwhile, the Met Department forecast strong winds to reach 40 km per hour at times over the northern province and the Anuradhapura and Puttalam districts. Given the prevailing rainy weather pattern, the Department of Meteorology advised the public to take adequate precautions to minimize damages caused by temporary localized strong winds and lightning during thunder showers. Taking the country's weather situation into account, the National Building Research Organisation issued Level 1 early landslide warnings to several areas in the Galle district.
Due to prevailing weather conditions as well as weather prediction issued by the Department of Meteorology, the landslide early warning message has been issued in the following areas. With that, warning level 1 watch yellow warning was issued to Madhegama, LPTA, Nagoda and Yakkaramula Divisional Secretary Division in Galle district.
Meanwhile, the Expressway Traffic Police Division informed motorists to limit their vehicle speed to 60 km per hour on expressways due to the adverse weather conditions. Drivers are also advised to maintain adequate distance between vehicles, adding that motorists should turn on vehicle headlights given the low light conditions.
Now, fertilizer subsidy vouchers of 20,000 rupees per hectare will be provided to paddy farmers from tomorrow onwards for the cultivation of the Yalla season. A decision was made by the government to provide necessary financial allocations to 650,000 farmers in the form of fertilizer subsidy vouchers. Minister of Agriculture Mahinda Amaraveera said necessary measures have been taken to provide vouchers of 20,000 rupees per hectare and 40,000 rupees per 2 hectares to paddy farmers through the Department of Agrarian Development. The government has allocated 10 billion rupees for fertilizer subsidy during this year. Now, Sri Lanka police will provide armed security to the burial site of late businessman Dinesh Shafter, whose remains are to be exhumed on the 25th of May. A 5-member committee of judicial and forensic medical experts appointed to uncover the actual cause of death of the businessman earlier requested the Colombo Magistrates Court to issue an order allowing to exhume the body of Shafter. In a written request to the court, the committee had explained to the Colombo Additional Magistrate that in order to determine the cause of death, the former director of Janashakti, an exhumation is necessary. Accordingly, dates have been fixed for the hearing of the case, for which the Criminal Investigations Department has also been summoned before the court. The cremation ceremony of the chief prelate of the Amarapura chapter, Most Venerable Dhurampala Chandrasiridhara, was held with full state honours this evening. The remains of the late Mahanayaka Thera, which was laid at the Thapowane temple in Rajagiriya, was brought to the Independence Square on a motorcade where the final rites were performed. The ceremony of the final rites, which commenced at 3 p.m. with full state honours, was attended by Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena and the Trinitian Mahasangha. At around 6 p.m, the remains of the late Chief Prelate of the Amarapura chapter, Most Venerable Dodampahala Chandrasiri Thera, was brought to the funeral pyre. And that wraps up tonight's edition of First at 9 on AdaDerana 24. We'll see you again tomorrow at the same time. I'm Indivra Yamuatta. Good night.
For news and information you can trust 24 hours a day, visit adaderana.lk.